Hi, welcome back to our channel. I'm Chase from Chase and Melia, and today we are wiring the electronics as well as the audio of my new pedalboard. I'm going to show you how I installed both the electronic ports as well as the audio ports. I will walk you through my cable management and signal flow, as well as showing you some final touches and final hardware pieces that I used to make my board look great. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. So you've already seen this piece. This is the piece that I countersunk, okay? This attaches to this. This is the input jack. Now, there's a few different ways we can do this. This one is actually a pre-soldered one that came with the kit I got from West Coast Pedalboard. I can solder my own, but this is pretty convenient. There's a few different ways you can do this. I like to screw off the top. I like to put the nut on the bottom, add the washer, and then add this guy. I screw it on until this feels pretty flush. Give it a nice turn so it's good and tight, no jiggling, and then I can install. Now, when you do this, make sure that you've already put it through the hole, otherwise you're going to have to put it in again. Now that it's through the hole, I add my washer again. Screw on the tip. And we're good to go. So I have a little bit of a funny setup. I have a German power supply. It's from Harley Benton. It's isolated. I find that it works great. But it does have a funny thing where it has a German plug. It's dual voltage, so that's not going to be a problem. The problem was every adapter that I had on it was loose and jiggling. So I ended up buying this before I left Germany. This is anything you'd buy at the local hardware store in order to repair the end of, let's say, an extension cord if you needed a new female end. This is the female end. This is the end that I need. Now that I have this Edison plug, I can wire this female end to this Edison plug, and it can plug into my power brick. So wiring an Edison plug is really not that difficult. Having this skill will help you in your own home. I think everybody should know how to do it, and it's very simple. There are 3 wires. You have green, white, and black. Over here, we have 3 screws. Green, brass, and silver. Now, how I remember it is green to green. That one's easy. But black goes to brass. All you have to do now is twist the wires so that they have a nice connection and screw them to these posts. Now, it should go without saying, but I feel like I have to say it. Don't have anything plugged in while you're working with electricity. This is not plugged into anything, which means I cannot get electrocuted. It's a fact. I don't know why people would have it plugged in. Just don't. The other thing that I just did is I showed you how to put this together. But, if you'll notice, I cannot get this in here when it's already hooked up. Don't be like me. Think ahead. So when I first bought pedals, I bought a bunch of these small 6-inch patch cables, and they worked well. But unfortunately, you don't always need 6 inches. Sometimes you need a lot more than 6 inches. So I ordered the Mogami cable from West Coast Pedalboard. And honestly, it was cheaper there than it was on Amazon. You can go see for yourself. It's a good deal. Mogami is rated one of the best in the business for their cabling and their instrument cables. I needed a longer cable. I made these pretty quickly. Soldering is not difficult. I will link in the description box a video that helped me learn. I used this soldering iron. The tip isn't great, but it worked wonderful. This is a 40-watt soldering iron. It's usually used for automotive parts. That's what I had access to, and honestly, it worked great. The reason why I had confidence in the cables that I made was because I used what's called a multimeter. It's a little box about this big with 2 leads on it. I set it to the ohms setting, and I touched it to the tips as well as the sleeves of the cables to make sure that each cable I made was functional. Most of the videos you'll see out there are people with very nice rigs where they're using a nice soldering iron, a 3rd arm. I used a wood clamp and this automotive soldering iron. So what I'm saying is that you don't have to have the perfect setup in order to at least try to make some patch cables. Now, my cable management is far from perfect, but one thing that's been helping me keep the cables literally out of the way of, let's say, my moving lid, so it doesn't chop the cable or do something worse, are these little clips from the cable management set that came with my kit from West Coast Pedalboard. So I'm using these patch cables to make sure that the end of the jack ends with the pedal board. I don't want anything hanging over onto the wood. So the reason why I opted for the Edison plug instead of the traditional IEC cable was because I only wanted to bring this. I only want to bring an extension cord. I can plug it into the side of my board and I have power. So, just a little bit about my signal flow. It goes in through the input into this first EQ pedal, which I use as a clean boost using the pre-soldered cables. That in turn goes into the SD1, which goes into the input of the volume pedal. I use the tuner out because this is a JHS modded volume pedal so that I can run the tuner out without losing any signal. So I have one going to the tuner, the other one goes straight into my tremster, which goes into the delay, which goes into the reverb. Now, some people put trem at the end of their signal flow. I decided to put it here because I wanted the ability to plug in an extra amp if I wanted to. This can run stereo out, so I want it on the end. Eventually, I might want to put a second output on the outside of my board in case I want to run a stereo rig, but honestly right now I'm not that good of a guitarist and I don't really want to carry 2 amps. So I'm really excited about this project. I cannot wait to play it more. I've been watching more YouTube videos on woodworking than I have on guitar playing, and that just can't be. A huge thank you to my friends and family who have helped me make this thing a reality. A big thank you to West Coast Pedalboard for giving me the tools and supplies that I needed to make this project happen. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to tune in on the next one because it's all about the mistakes I made and how you can avoid them. Thanks for watching. See you next time.